welcome to another episode of Convention Confessional. My name is Katy Hunt, and basically what we do here is we talk about our funny, sad, scary, crazy stories from conventions past and not so much present because, there's still a panoramic going on, so unfortunately that's just not a thing right now, so we have to lament about the past because that's all we got going on. And today I have someone with me who I have known for many, many years now in the convention scene. Um, some of you might know him as Mike, but most of you might know him as Lantis. Hey, Lantis, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Oh, I mean, I can't complain. Doesn't do anybody any good, right?
Fair.
Fair. Well, sir, I'm very happy to have you on the show. So, tell me, what story brings you here today? I'm excited to hear this.
Um, this is actually a story from when I was still an attendee at cons. I hadn't started staffing yet.
Mm-hmm.
This is from TakoshaCon 2012, and it is the Great Monopoly Hunt.
TakoshaCon? Where's TakoshaCon?
It is in Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay. Nice. A little outside of New England.
A little bit.
A little bit. A monopoly, huh?
Yeah. Let's see. So this was my second TakoshaCon.
Mm-hmm.
I had driven out the year before with our mutual friend Justin, Bashar of the Ages.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Driving to Pittsburgh from where I was living at the time, which was pretty much the Canadian border in Vermont, via New Hampshire, because I would met up with Justin and we drove out together.
Right.
It's a bit of a drive,
A little bit.
so we ended up flying this our second year, which ended up working out better. We went out because we knew a couple of people that were on staff there.
Mm-hmm.
And in particular, because we're both anime music video editors, TakoshaCon had a full con AMV room, similar to the fan creations track at Anime Boston now, the video art track at Anime Week in Atlanta. There's a few cons around the country that have them now,
Mm-hmm.
but TakoshaCon was one of the earlier ones to have it, and a lot of that was from their staffers, Glory Quester and Vlad. And a little bit of an aside on Vlad, he's kind of a legend in the AMV community.
I've heard of him.
He's about 15 years older than I am. He's been editing videos of some form or another since 1987.
Wow.
So he's kind of a legend. And he's one of the people behind a lot of the way AMV contests and AMV rooms run nowadays. He's put his stamp on a lot of different cons. I think at his peak he was doing 20 cons a year.
Holy crap. Wow.
So he's also one of the most organized and prepared people I have ever met. He's on a par with Mike Lee.
Wow. And Mike Lee is I think his entire next 20 years is booked and organized, so
Yeah, that's about right.
right.
He's still involved in cons. He's cut back a lot since he's in his mid-50s now.
Mm-hmm.
But he's actually the chair of Animathon out in Edmonton
Okay.
because that's where he lives. He's from Alberta.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he came out to TakoshaCon to help run the AMV room, and the previous year, Justin and I had pretty much soaked up information from him like sponges,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what ended up leading heavily to the creation of the Fan Works Theater at another anime con, and later the Fan Creations track in Anime Boston.
Mm-hmm.
We stole so many things from them.
We took it.
It's good artists are inspired.
Right.
Great artists steal.
Accurate.
So and that's one of the awesome things about Vlad is that he's so free with information. If you're willing to learn and there's not a fire going on, he's perfectly willing to teach.
Nice.
So Justin and I had spent a huge portion of the 2011 con soaking up information, and if we were running for food, we would offer, hey, we're running for food, you guys want anything? And we did a lot of that through 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And our plan was to do the same thing for 2012. So that's kind of all the backstory for this con, for this story.
Sure.
So one of the events that Vlad had planned for TakoshiCon 2012 was a new game show involving AMVs. And um, he had forgotten to pack one component, play money.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't remember whose suggestion it was, but the idea was, heck, we should just go buy a set of Monopoly.
Sure.
So it ended up working out that, yeah, there's nothing coming up on the schedule that I want to go to, so I'll make the run. A couple of naive assumptions here. I've barely spent any time in Pittsburgh.
Right.
I don't know the area well.
Sure. Sure.
I don't have a smartphone. This is 2012.
Right. Those barely exist.
Google Maps doesn't exist.
Nope. Sure doesn't.
And it's Sunday morning.
Why? Why would
Well,
you do that?
that's just when this happened.
I know, but why
It,
would you do that to yourself?
I I'm really naive here.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so it's around 10 o'clock on a Sunday
Mm.
morning.
Mm-hmm.
The game show is going to be running at around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I figure I've got plenty of time. So I head out. We'd made a bunch of food runs, so I had seen a bunch of stores in the area.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured there were a decent number of places I could at least try.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them are closed because it's Sunday.
Right.
So I managed to find one that's open. It's this tourist trap store. And my thought is they're going to have a Pittsburgh themed version of the game.
Sure.
This isn't a big deal. So go in. They have just sold out and they won't restock until Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the clerk points me to another store that might have one. I go. They don't have them. They don't carry board games at all.
Oh, good.
So the clerk forwards me on to another place. And this goes on for a chain of like 6 or 7 different stores.
Oh, no.
So the next store in the chain is either closed, or they don't have it, or they've never had it. But eventually, I'm walking through a park about 10 blocks away from the hotel, and I see a parking enforcement officer walking down the street, checking meters and handing out tickets.
Mm-hmm.
They managed to point me to a toy store. It's about a half mile away, but he gives me really good directions, and I actually make it without getting lost. And for me, that's amazing because I have terrible direction sense. But it's thankfully it was only 2 turns,
Oh, good.
but he gets me into a toy store.
Mm-hmm.
They've got Monopoly sets. They don't have the stock Monopoly, but they've got a bunch of the various editions
Sure.
of various things. So I'm looking through the shelves trying to pick out the least bad themed version of Monopoly because most of the themed versions are terrible.
That's true.
And then I see behind at the back of the shelf with a big discount sticker on it. It's still like $5 more than most of the stock versions,
Mm-hmm.
but the Millionaires edition.
Oh, boy.
So my thought is Millionaires edition is going to have more money. So that's the one I grab.
Sure.
And at this point I'd been gone almost 2 hours.
Right, and now you're like running back like Charlie with the golden ticket.
Not quite, but it's I make it back about an hour before the game show, and Vlad just looks at me like, "What have you done?" Because it's the Millionaires edition is this gigantic box,
Mm-hmm.
and it's I got a deal. It's five. It was only $5 more. You got all this extra money
Yep.
because it's got the $1 million bills.
Right.
So then so they get started for the game show, and he tells this story.
Oh no.
So the kicker, I went out to Animathon in 2019.
Mhm.
He's still running the game show.
Okay.
He's still telling the story.
Is he still using the Monopoly game?
Y- Uh, that's one of the funniest bits. Because he flew, he didn't have room in his luggage to bring the full game back.
Oh no.
So he just took the money and gave the game to Glory Quester.
He took the fake money and he ran. That's awesome.
But yes,
Just
he
I can
is
just
still
see him like
using
a
that.
duffel bag, just like shoving fake Monopoly money into it.
No, it's um, if you've seen a Monopoly set, it's just a big stack that is rubber banded.
Ah, boo. Like I picture him like in a hotel room, like you throw it on the bed, like in the movies, and they roll around in the money.
Nah, Vlad is way too organized for that
That's
because
fair.
he knows he would have to pick it back up because if he needed to use it again.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I'd be like, well, we can't be like, just like billing it. we can't get it all crunchy. God, Monopoly
Yeah,
money is so flimsy too. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. See you like running around a city, just like I just need a Monopoly game, guys.
it's it was at the time I was getting very very worried that I wasn't going to be able to find find it before I had to head back.
Well, I mean, I feel like Monopoly's pretty much in every store except Pittsburgh, apparently. Like, you walk into a store and it's like, Monopoly New Hampshire edition, Monopoly Cow edition. Like,
And that was exactly my thought, which is why I was hitting the tourist trap stores. It's somebody's got to have a Pittsburgh edition.
right, like a Steelers edition, anything.
Yeah, and that was entirely my thought.
That's crazy. Well, here's a question. Did you get the Iron Editor idea from him?
Um, not from him. Iron Editor was actually organized by a couple of other editors uh, in the Anime Weekend Atlanta community
Hmm.
that they actually hold a trademark for the name Iron Editor.
Aha. That's interesting.
And the only reason that we've been able to run Iron Editor events is because we had run Iron Editor events at Anime Boston before they got the trademark. So it's
Ah,
kind of grandfathered.
I see, I see. And AAC. Because I
Yes.
remember the first one that you guys ran. Because you edited against Lindsay, correct?
I did, but before that, Justin and Dan had run a couple at Anime Boston in like 2005.
Okay, okay. I think I missed out on the 2005 one.
I also did. I didn't start attending Anime Boston until '07.
Right. But I remember first Iron Editor at AAC.
That was the first extreme Iron Editor.
You ruined my childhood. You both
Uh,
ruined my childhood.
Lindsay more than I,
Yeah,
but
really true though.
it's also my fault because that hysterically was. For anyone that doesn't know what Iron Editor is,
Right.
it's where you have two AMV editors.
Mhm.
They're given a pile of footage
Yep.
and 2 hours to edit a music video in.
Yep. And,
Uh,
and then you also get like the sound clips, but it's like you have to pick a number or something, didn't you, to like find out which sound clip you had to
uh,
use?
was getting to that point.
Yeah.
Each of us had brought a list of 10
Right,
songs,
right, right.
and through a variety of games had got the lists had gotten whittled down to two on each or three on each list,
Mhm, mhm.
and we had to choose one of those three songs to edit our video to. Part of one of the games was uh, some of the songs on each list got flipped. So some songs that Lindsay had brought ended up on my list to choose from, and some that I brought ended up on her list to choose from.
Mhm, mhm.
The song that she ruined childhoods with, the Muppet theme,
So bad.
originally came from my list.
You're a dick. Okay, so like before we get to your view of this, I hosted this event. Like Justin came to me and asked me if I would like to host this event at the convention we worked at. And I was like, absolutely. Like I have got nothing to do really except host Masquerade, like spend a couple hours in a room watching people like edit videos. Absolutely. I'm down for it. And I mean the whole time there's games going on, like Lantis said. Some that help the editors and some that do not help the editors at all. some that kind of stop people from editing and like taking away time and stuff. And at the end of it, it's like no one really knows what they're making. Like we kind of get like an idea of like what songs you have to use sometimes or what clips you have to use. But the end result, we no idea. So like at the end of this first event, they're like, okay, we're gonna play them now. It's like, oh boy, we're gonna play them now. And all I see is whatever. What was the name of that anime? Like it was like,
Um, we had a couple episodes of Beck,
yep,
a couple episodes of Detroit Metal City,
that's it.
and
That one.
the live action Bleach musical.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And all I ever see in my brain is the Muppet theme going and the weird Metallica guy like humping everything. That's it. That's all I remember. And it's sad. And it makes me sad. What song did you end up with for that? Like I think that one scarred me. So I think I just blacked out the rest of it.
Um, I had an instrumental bit from I think maybe one of the Macross
Oh,
movies.
okay. So yours was like, yeah, yours had like the low key, like, like nice, like, yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
instrumental build to a story
Mhm.
climax sort of
Mhm.
thing.
Mhm. And then we got that.
And she blew me out of the water. And
I
she,
mean,
sh
if for no other reason, it's just how disturbing it was.
it was hysterical.
It was so good. But like I said, like Disney Plus now you're watching stuff, you're like, oh, Muppet Show. And the minute that song starts up, I'm just like, no, I gotta skip the intro.
The video's on YouTube, you know.
Oh, I know. Oh, I've seen it. Oh yeah. I forget what she named it. If I can find it, I'm definitely going to link it like with when I post this podcast because everyone needs to see it. Is yours up too?
Um, I actually think I may have uploaded a double video of both of them.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. If we can find the link for that, that would be amazing. Because, whoo, uh,
I will see if I can dig it out of my archive.
yeah. But yeah, no, you guys. But still, like you guys had 3 hours and you made such good like music
2 hours.
videos. It was crazy.
Actually only had 2 hours. It was 3 hours for the entire event, including the setup and render out.
Oh right, okay, okay, okay. Oh, that's right, because you had to render. That's right. That's right. Oh my gosh, but those events are fun. Like that's a good time.
They are. Usually.
Usually.
Uh, th- there was a piece from the next year that was just painful.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah. The year after that, which was actually 2008,
Yep.
uh, or no, 2009
9.
or 9? No, it had to be 8 because 7 was my first. I think. Yes, yes. Sorry, it's
It all
the
bonds
years
together.
the years kind of blur together.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
because um, the first AAC was 2006,
Mhm.
and I only attended to participate in the first Iron Editor the year after that.
Right.
So the second one had to have been 2008. So that was done in pairs. Uh, it
Right.
was
That's
I
right.
was paired with Insto, and Lindsay was paired with Brian, Otaku for Life.
Right. Right.
Um, and one of the challenges was Lindsay against me, and we had to hold our hands in a bucket of ice water as long as we could,
You sure did.
and the loser was whoever pulled out first.
That's right.
Um, we both lasted far longer than Dan intended,
Mhm. Mhm. I remember that. Yes.
and then you guys broke out the silly string
Yes, we did.
and are spraying both of us. We ended up declaring it a tie,
Yep.
and both pulled out of the bucket at the same time. And then the horrible, evil person that he is, Dan made us both start editing immediately. Switch with the partners.
I remember.
My hands ached for like a day and a half after that.
I bet. Well, it was like what, like 20 minutes you guys did it or something?
something like
It
that.
was like a long ass time. We're just like, guys, there's no pride in this. You're both like, yeah, there is. Oh, okay, well, if you, okay.
Both of us are pretty darn stubborn people.
No, I hadn't noticed. But like Iron Editor turned into we had like late night Iron Editor.
Yes, yes, we did. I've only participated in that once,
That's
but
fun.
I've been behind the scenes of that for most of them.
Uh-huh. Yeah, there's a reason for that. The late night version, I mean, I thought the Muppet Show thing was like twisted. I had no idea what I was getting into when I volunteered to host the late night version because the late night version is like, here's all of this porn.
Fact. And then the secret ingredient, because most of the time editors are told, okay, you're gonna get this, 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 and this. And then there's always a secret ingredient that gets revealed at the event that you
Mhm.
have to include at least 1 second of.
Mhm. Mhm.
And after the first couple years of Extreme Iron Editor, the normal one ended up always slightly ruining childhoods.
Yep.
Like the second one, I think Lindsay had a cover of Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid.
Yes.
And then the year after that, I had a Care Bears
Yes, the Care
song.
Bear song. I remember the Care Bear song. Oh
But
god.
yeah, so it's after that tradition started, the secret ingredient ended up being a children's series.
Yep.
Um, some that I remember are like the Magic School Bus,
Yep.
the Brave Little Toaster,
Yep.
Frosty the Snowman.
Yep. Oh god.
I don't recall what else. I would have to ask
I
Justin.
think those were the only 3 that I was a part of, because after that, like, I stopped hosting it, but I don't think, like, because I didn't want to. I think I like, that was the year that I took a break, so I wasn't there for hosting. But the Magic School Bus one was probably the most twisted, if I recall.
I would actually say that the Frosty one would be the most twisted.
Okay, okay, we can agree to disagree on that.
It's not that neither of them are twisted.
Nothing about Extreme Late Night Iron Editor was good. Like, oh my god.
This is true.
And then, who came up with the Fancy Feast?
Um, that actually was a group of editors. I'm not sure where they're mostly based, but they decided to troll Anime Weekend Atlanta's late night contest
Mhm.
with a string of Fancy Feast commercials set to hentai.
Yep. And I just because in between all the iron editing stuff, it's like, yeah, we tortured the editors, but at the same time, they would be like, well, here's a video while we're waiting for them to do this task or do this task. And the entire time we're there, it's like we get like a weird video, and then all of a sudden it would be like a Fancy Feast commercial. It's like, oh my god, stop.
It's
So gross, but
it's
it's so good.
some of those still get featured at the Hentai AMV extravaganza at Anime Boston.
Oh my god. Like, you want to be mad about it, but you can't be because they're so well done. Like,
Pretty much. They're absurd.
they're bad. They're so bad, they're good. Oh. But I just remember it'd be like I'd be standing there and all of a sudden it's like, what's it time for? Another Fancy Feast. I'm like, no. How many are there?
I'm aware of 15.
Oh god. Like 14 too many. Oh no.
They're only about 30 seconds each.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's like a full
Because
commercial. You're just like, no.
they're direct. It's the audio is a direct copy of a real Fancy Feast commercial.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think my favorite, had to have been the one like with the bell jingle, like that they were calling the cat, because I think it was like a bell around one of the girls' necks, and they kept like going back to it.
I don't recall that one.
I
Have
remember
to
there was one
look.
with a bell, but I just can't remember. Like, maybe I didn't really pay that much attention because I was like, oh my god, I can't watch these. I don't remember. Which means now you're probably just gonna send them all to me. I get it. Is there anything you'd like to promote while you are here, sir?
I actually don't have anything to plug.
Really?
I've been working on getting something started, but it is not anywhere near ready.
All right, all right. Well, when the time comes and you're ready to promote it, let me know. I will definitely boost the signal for it. Um, I guess. I mean, if anybody has an AMV and they want to enter it, where do we enter it?
Um, I'm I coordinate the contests for Anime Boston and for Bakuretsucon in Vermont.
Nice.
Um, but it's most cons have an AMV contest, and it'll be listed on their website. It's at for Anime Boston. It's in the bar
Hmm.
of programming.
Okay.
Um, just make sure you read the rules. Some people don't,
Mm.
and it always sucks to have to disqualify people.
Right, right. No fun. I love AMV contests. It's part of my like the best part of like Masquerade is seeing the winners at the end sometimes.
It is what has kept me going to cons.
Hmm.
My oldest con badge is old enough to drink,
Nice.
and the probably for the last 15 years, AMVs has been my kind of niche in fandom.
Awesome. They're fun. They're a good time. It definitely gives you a different view of different shows and songs and people's talents and everything else. And I love it. I love AMVs. They're awesome. You make some really great ones too. I love the ones you've made.
I don't edit as much as I would like to anymore. Life has kind of gotten in the way,
Yeah.
and annoyingly, I'm running all the contests I used to enter.
Right. Curse this talent. Well, look at me. The one convention that I competed at, and now I'm hosting at it. So I mean, hi.
Yeah, that's actually what kept me off staffing cons for so long because there used to be rules that if you were on staff, you couldn't enter.
Right. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on. Great episode. Folks, if you like it, you can follow us on all those streaming apps of every single podcast. I think I finally got us signed up for all of them. And thanks again for coming on, Lantis. And we will see you all next week. Have a good night. Bye.
Thank you for having me.